All right, what is up, guys? Today I want to talk about the 3 things you'll need to close deals and generate clients from Instagram, from your Instagram profile. And we're not talking, some super businessy profile. We're not talking just a personal profile where it says cat lover of 3 in your bio. There's going to be 3 things you'll need. Let's start with one is ads, Instagram ads, right? There's a million different platforms you can run ads on. You can do Google ads, you can do Facebook ads, you can do Instagram ads. The thing with Instagram ads is it's the best place to build an actual brand right now if you're a local service-based business owner, right? Facebook is more transactional. You can't really build a brand on it. TikTok is good for e-commerce products, but not for like local service businesses. YouTube is great, but you can't DM people on YouTube, right? Which allows you to book meetings, which we'll get into that later. But ads are necessary because how do you expect people to buy your service or know about you, if you don't advertise yourself, if you don't let other people know you exist. So what this does is by running a simple Instagram ad, set up properly to your target audience of who you're wanting to target in your local city, and then getting people to follow you. That's the key. We're not asking for their money. We're not asking for them to fill out their contact information or a lead form. That's very transactional. There's not a lot of trust built there yet. But we need to run ads because that way we can control who sees your content. If you're a local service business in Phoenix, right, but you get a bunch of followers from Texas, it doesn't matter. It does not matter if you get a bunch, because you can't service them, right? You can only service people in your city. So to control, right, with a dial, let's say you put $20, $30 a day on an Instagram ad and you want to set it up properly and everything, but you're able to control and know that thousands of people in your local city are seeing your ad every single day. So personally, I spend $200 a day on Instagram ads so people in my city can see me, right? Can see these videos. And then I direct them to watch these videos. So that's what I do. Number 2, the second thing you'll need is content. Videographers and content agencies will just say, hey, we'll come out, film some reels for you, and we're going to get you results. But that's just not true. That's going to take a long, long time, and you're banking on the algorithm to specifically find people in your city to show it to, and that it goes viral. And you can get lucky for sure. But to say that's your business plan is I'm going to leave it up to the Instagram algorithm does not work. But what content is good for is trust. When you have content, when you bring people from an ad, so you're paying for their attention, but then you bring them to a piece of content where they begin to like, know, and trust you, that's totally different. When you do that, people see you, they like you, they want to work with people, not businesses, then they're much more likely to buy. That's why I make content. That's why I'm making this video right now, right? Is because you're more likely to move forward or work with me if you're watching me talk on camera, if you're watching me give free value away, rather than me cold calling you out of the blue and saying, hey, buy my product or service, right? No one likes that. No one likes being spammed in the emails, and then you have to unsubscribe, and I'm not saying cold calls don't work and all that stuff. They do, but there is a more efficient way to do it, and especially allow you to build yourself a brand in the long term. So when you come with that content piece, and that can be, there's different ways you can do it. You can do it raw, you can do it super edited. I take the more raw stance because I like it's more real, authentic. That's why I'm on a walk right now in the middle of the Friday, day. I don't like the big flashy super graphics. But you need content. You can't just run ads because there's no trust and you're just asking people for their money, and then you call them and because they left their phone number, and then they don't pick up the phone. They're like, oh, who's this? And they're like, oh yeah, you actually never mind, not interested. And content alone is going to take a long time to actually get people to see your stuff. So that's that at the end of the day. Now the last thing to actually generate clients and close deals with Instagram, right, and get actual clients, not just to follow you, but to give you their money. Gotta love motorcycles. But to give you their money is by DMing them. It goes down in the DMs, right? You can have the best ad, you can have the best content, and you could get 20 people, aka leads, following you every single day from your ad. But if you're not talking to them, if you're not DMing them and starting up a conversation, hey, thanks for the follow, then what's the point, right? You're waiting they DM you first, which happens, but definitely not as much as you making the first step. Oh, and by the way, they followed you, so you have the leverage, right? Thanks for following me. You're acknowledging that they took the first step, so you're thanking them, but you're also like basically saying, hey, you came to me, how can I help? And when you come across like that and you're not salesy and you're not just constantly selling stuff, that's what works. So I had a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was super bullish on cold email. And by all means, if it works, it works. I used to buy 10 domains, try to warm them up, send 1,000 emails a day, and hope to get 20 responses and maybe 2 booked meetings or something like that, right? And you can go that route, but for the long term, what's better is to grow your brand, especially as a local service business. That way you can charge more, right, for the same service, because you have built that brand, and people who are coming to you will pay for that premium because you've built that brand, instead of price shopping and saying, oh, well, I know someone else who can do it cheaper, right? But if you're not running ads, if you're not posting content, you're not in the DMs, then I think we're leaving, or people, businesses who aren't doing that are leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, if you're doing, 8 figures, I would not just rely on one Instagram account, obviously, to bring in all the revenue, right? Even high 7 figures. But if you're starting out, or you're a home service business and you're doing like, $50K a month or $100K, I don't know. But if you're not like, some $10 million plus business yet, and someone's not on your Instagram right now booking appointments to you and building your brand, it's not, there's a lot of money left on the table. And by the way, I use the same system myself, right? Like, we've cleared 6 figures off of less than 3,000 Instagram followers. So that brings our dollar per follower at like $35. So every person who followed me, theoretically, I make $35 from. So I wouldn't be saying this stuff if it didn't work, or if I wasn't using it myself. And that's why I'm bullish on it. That's why I'm confident about it. That's why I can create a video yapping about it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy that. Ads, content, DMs. If you find any piece of value, would appreciate a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want, if you have more questions on any one of those. I'm going to start doing these videos more, but appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.